Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Keith here, Jesse on the camera, and tonight on the bench we got Schmurtle McDurtle, the TRX4m bobbed Land Rover? I don't know.
Pickup?
The pickup, that's it. For picking up them things. Anyhow, we kind of wanted to do the forward cab design like we've seen, and a lot of guys just chop off the whole top. This is the body that I think mine originally came with. I can't remember, lots of stuff happens here, but a lot of guys just chop it off and move it forward. You still end up with the pickup bed with the cab that runs to the front. However, we want to make it run from the back all the way to the front like a big old school bus. So we're going to use this body and this awesome, I already cut it out to make sure everything was going to work properly, but TRAXXAS replacement body. You buy them, they come in white, they come with all the fixings that you bolt on, very nice to work with. The difference is this is pulled in a red plastic, this is pulled in a white plastic. I find the colored plastics like this are a little bit more brittle, where the white plastic is a little bit more strong. I guess it's something about the color or something that makes it weaker. Pardon?
The pigments?
Yeah, I guess they changed the science of everything. So anyway, we are going to stretch this guy from here. I got a little line in the front. You know what? We're actually, for this part, I'm going to pull out the mag on our pit mat, or our mouse pad from CalRC, because white on white on white is just a crime. Nobody can see what's happening here. So, okay. Now you can see what we're talking about. This guy we're going to bring up to the line in the front, 50 millimeters or 2 inches, pretty much going to line up right there. So it's going to give us that snubby little nose, and then like 15 passenger limo like the bus. I need to cut 50 millimeters out of here, so if we go from this dotted line at the edge of the back window all the way to the beginning edge of the back window, smooth that out and put that together. Now, I did forget to grab some acetone today so we can cut out scraps of this body and use that to melt down as a filler. So we're just going to have to do our best and keep it super clean. I'm going to have to recut some different door lines and fill the old door lines and such like that. If you want to get crazy into detail, unfortunately we're broken and we have to do it that way every time. So it's going to take a little while, but anyway, this will be part one. We've already got this cut off. That was easy. Let me grab my little friend. Okay, so as you guys know, my favorite tool is this crafty old bone saw. You can pick them up anywhere. They're great. They'll cut you good. Don't mess around, but it's a little bit obnoxious for this type of job. So anyway, we've got this nice little Tamiya Craft Tools one. It is made by Olfa, and there's no part number on it. But anyway, look up your little razor saw from Tamiya. It's got this little heel on the back, which is actually really nice, because if you see, that keeps it flat. So it's kind of not the best piece to show you on, but if you have it on a flat surface like that, it keeps the blade nice and flat, so you can just work it back, you know, and end up like healing and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. A little bit of thought put into it. Very cool tool. Check that out. We're going to use that for this project. This guy's a little bit big for a micro. Okay, so the next step is to take this guy apart so we can get that 50 millimeter chunk or 2 inches out to fill this in, kind of start lining that up, mock that up, kind of tack it together. We also need to stretch the roof. I need to do it outside of the window piece, either in the rear. Probably in the rear, it's going to be the easiest. The windows on this kit are molded and like fit into the plastic. They have a lip that pops through to give them a nice flush, yeah, like a flush mounted fit on them, which is nice. It's not so recessed back like other kits are. So yeah, so we don't want to have to cut the window and try to stretch that. That won't work. So anyway, I'm going to get this ripped apart, and we'll see you back in a couple seconds. Okay, so pretty quick breakdown. It's about 8,000 screws, and then you got to fight this monocoque window that's fit in there really well out. It comes out, you just got to keep wiggling and popping it. The inside the mirrors, you have to cut them off, use some flush cuts, cut the plastic that's melted off. And anyhow, so I don't have a marker, but we need 50 millimeters, or roughly 2 inches, just under 2 inches. So it's going to give us from this door line to the edge of this window here. So we're going to cut this panel out of it on both sides, and then I want to make a mess and put them in there. So with the saw, I like to start with the one tooth on the end, put it in the groove that I'm cutting in, and just kind of give it a couple cuts like a knife. If it kind of hooks and starts to like fight you and drag, just go back the other way and kind of come back at it. You don't want to fight it too much, and then it'll start to go crooked on you. Start with the basic line, and you can get your blade in there nicely. Okay, so from there, obviously, this bottom line down here, that's super easy to run that out with this. And all the way up to here, you're just gonna have to free ball this, kind of cut it best you can. Heck, you could even just cut that off with a pair of flush cuts for the top part of it. And then just sand it to fit. Cut it proud, which means like leave a little bit of extra, and we'll just sand that down. Easy boy jeezy. These are very flimsy, so you want to make sure it's not running away. Take a couple cuts, make sure you're happy. Always cut proud, you can always sand it back, right? So sand or file. There you go, like this. Start with the tip of the blade, cut your groove in that nice little ditch or the valley in the body line. You try to lay the whole guy in there flimsy, it's going to run all over. It's too many teeth to try to cut with at once. And yeah, we'll see you back here in a few seconds. Don't mix up your left from your right. You might want to take a marker, write down right on them, left. But yeah, see you back in a few seconds when I get these parts chopped off. We don't need to watch us do this. Okay, so we chopped out that 50 mil piece out of the donor or the red body. That doesn't look that great. We have these 3 sanding boards. They're double-sided, so that gives you 7,000 different types of sanding configurations if used properly. Anyhow, as you know, this one is the back window, so it is a little bit shaped from there. We're going to drop it down nice and evenly and keep it square. And it also has a detail on the front face, a little kind of a rain gutter kind of deal thing underneath the bottom of the window. I think it's like a protector for the body, or like a stiffener or something like that on the fender. I'm not sure what it is, but we're going to knock that guy down too. Now, since we're gluing it together, you don't really have to worry about getting that gap filled. We'll fill that with glue and then sand it out after. So as long as everything is square, looking good, you're happy, and you drop this guy off the face. Again, don't worry, you can use a coarse one. This one's like, in scale, would be like using a roofing shingle for sanding your vehicle. It's very heavy, but once we glue it all back together, we'll go and clean that up after. So just shape it out, basically, is kind of what I'm trying to say. Does that sound right, Chase? Mm-hmm. There's a hinge detail over here. I must delete that too. There's no way in hell it will line up with anything that'll make any sense. So that kind of lines up the front one. So we can leave the hinge actually by some weird alignment of all the stars and moons that worked out, which it never does. So let's go around, make sure you're happy, everything's square. A little bit of square sanding, get all your pieces lined up nice together. Now, I'm not sure what type of plastic this is. We're going to try our Tamiya modeling cement on it. Don't put it in your mouth, it's poison. Anyhow, we're going to try to get this to cure with this sweet. Oh, that's a really short brush. So we have some kind of wiggle room if need be. Okay, we're gonna see if that works. I'm not sure if even these are the same types of plastic. The white could be a just standard like ABS resin, and the red could be something of a mix because it is kind of translucent. If you shine a bright light to it, it'll shine through the red one. Okay guys, so the Tamiya cement worked fantastic for actually putting it together. It was kind of slow setting, which is nice as it does kind of melt the plastic, give it more of like a cure together. So it was nice. We decided from the first orientation to stand up this way. We had a bit more control over how everything lined up. And then we took our good old friend, the top broke off, so we got, this isn't a plug right now, but we get the Proline tire glue. As you guys know, for some reason we prefer tire glue for building. It just seems to work a lot better. I don't know why, but yeah, check it out. AKA tire glue, Proline tire glue, any tire glue works the best. It's still just CA at the end of the day, but for some reason it works better. And that's me being super opinionative again. God dang it. What do they say about that? You have opinion. Okay, so the magic school bus is starting to take shape here. The door hinges miraculously lined up somehow, so we can leave the door handle there. The door lines up. This door window line in the top, we could fade that out and just kind of bring it into where it's being cut. Back door works there. We just have no way to get to the front, so maybe we'll just put a little door handle right there above the fender. Just pretend it's a tiny little sliver door, and you just sit on top of all the gubbins inside there.
Put a panel line on the fender too.
Yeah, let's put little panel lines. Whoop, 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 whoop. Good look choice. Okay, so that's looking really good in there. I forgot to bring a Sharpie marker, so I'm gonna go grab a Sharpie. Ha! Thank you, Jesse. Caramel oogla. Okay, so we can mark this to the front line best as we can. So yeah, we're gonna straight tape that right across there. You know, we're gonna come in just a little bit to make sure we don't undercut anything. Now either I can't draw a straight line or something is not straight with the front of the body, so that is a nice time to put this down and kind of reassess how everything is going together and try to estimate why we are having the ligament issues. And the consensus is
it's pretty good right there.
Yeah, I'm just not good with a marker apparently, so but yeah, that's looking pretty dope-tastic. Are these words we can use? Who even knows? Okay, so we're gonna cut back, cut that across. Again, got it to die. Start slow. If you have a hump in the body, it's easier to start on the corners instead of in free space. You'd be sliding like this all over, right? So if you can, line up. Keep a top-down view on it. When we get rich, we'd put a camera here for you guys, but this is all out of pocket, so just pretend you're up there. Okay, there we go. We got the front of the hood removed. We left a little bit of fatter meat. I didn't go all the way to the hood line that they cut. I left a little bit of meat so we can have some good rigidity surface area. It gives a little bit of strength kind of this way. It's getting pretty thin now in the front end until we glue it all back together. So we went ahead, of course, with the CA glue, brushed the inside gap. You don't want to do the outside. We're going to fill and sand the outside. And again, we're going to use the Tamiya cement to kind of lock it all in place, get everything kind of situated where we want it. Do a little bit more measuring, make sure everything is perfect, and then we're going to secure that all into place. And then for the roof, we basically took the existing roof off the one unit, cut the very back of it off. We're going to be able to mount that right on top. So yeah, we're going to have to move this one top support. We'll cut it off after we get everything in glued to move that guy back a little bit. And then we are going to take the other roof that came with the white body and cut it at the 50mm mark and then put that together. We'll try to do all that work from the inside, keep it as straight and clean as we can, because it does have this detailed rivet line and we don't want to lose any of those. Obviously lose a couple. And then we get to stretch the roof rack out, and this cage, we'll stretch it out pretty much from here back. So lots of stretching, lots of stuff to go. Anyhow, we're going to get this glued up. We're just debating if we're going to keep the roof on as a kind of a structural template to kind of hold it in place. I think that's a good idea. Keep everything lined up. So we're going to start with the Tamiya cement, because that kind of melts the plastic. And since we're going to use the roof as a template, I'm just going to put a couple pieces of the Tamiya tape on there just to hold it from flopping over once we stand it up. Okay, now we got it taped out, we've checked it, we're square, we're happy. We're going to go through, make sure it's at the body line, we want it, hold it, and add some Tamiya cement. I'm going to start in the front corner because I know it's one piece. These guys back here will need a little more finessing, but we'll start in the front and then kind of work our way back. You're going to want to do this on the inside. Because remember berries, it melts the plastic. So you can get like really ugly results on the outside. Try not to put too much, let it run through. Now we're going to have to make a little trim plate for the front, but we can use the piece we chopped off to make a template to make a little styrene filler to fill up the little holes that we now have on either side of the hood kind of here, right? So sorry, this glue's really strong. Okay, so we got that all figured out. The cement is drying. Jesse pointed out a very good, valid point. We could have just cut this whole front off and mounted it instead of doing this collage or whatever you want to call it, of parts. So yeah, that is a good point. You can make it easier. You can cut right from there all the way out the front and across. Now that we know what we're going with the stretch, it was kind of, as we just kind of figured it out, but it was literally just cut out as much as you could out of it, so we should have just did that to begin with. So anyhow, very good, valid point. Thank you for that, Mr. McPherce one. This guy's dry. We're gonna hit it with CA glue. Okay, so basically the body's together. We have the roof on. We showed you how we cut the back of the roof off. We're gonna use the donor roof from the white parts body that comes with it. We're going to measure out to 50mm. We're going to cut that. We're going to put that together. Inside of the body, the cross members are going to have to be moved around to where they need to be. This guy can stay because he doesn't have any bolt holes that go through him. And it will clear with the window, no problem. And yeah, so this cross member here, we're going to have to cut it off and then move it back. The best way to do that is to use your windows to put it in, line up the hole, mark out the hole, move it back, and glue it in the same way so you can have it all fit back together nicely. Now remember, with the stretch and the new roof, just mark out your holes where they need to be. Do the same with the cage. We're going to come back and show you guys how we cut the windows and we cut the cage and we do that final mounting stuff. We're just talking about it quickly right now, because that's going to bring us to the end of the video right now. It's a pretty good start. We're in a couple good hours already so far. Liking it. We do need to figure out which paint color we're going to go with and a couple other things like that. So we'll see you guys back here when we have a little more body work done and before we start cutting and mounting the glass and all that stuff back in. And we'll definitely show you how we cut the cage and extend and all that good stuff. Keep all that in there, run that right to the back. It's going to look awesome. We'll see you guys back here next week for part 2.